All right, well, I'm showing 6 o'clock on everything, but the clock on the wall. So we'll go ahead and go back to the digital clock here, and everybody else's laptop. It's 6 o'clock as well, so we'll go ahead and call this meeting. All right, well, I'm showing 6 o'clock on everything, clock on the wall. So we'll go ahead and go back. We'll call this meeting to order. The November 3rd meeting of Nash County Board of Education. We'll start first with roll call. On my left, Ms. Janet Ward, Ms. Teresa Calhoun, present. Ms. Polly Jones, present. Ms. Diane Elder, Josh Roden, present as well. Next, we've got on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do we have anything needed for the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to move under the consent agenda, if we could, to 2 weeks from now when we meet on November 17th, the summer readministration plan approval. Last March was actually in April when we discussed that. I had asked that we do some thinking about that and looking at statistics, and it was my fault I didn't get up with Earl till too late to discuss those statistics and what it looked like for this year. So I'm asking that we move it to November 17th so he'll have time to get me those statistics that I requested. He didn't bat an eye last night. I didn't call him until 3:30 today. I'm sorry.
Do we have a certain time frame that needs to be approved?
He said December the 1st.
Okay.
We do have December 1st, but as I understand it, the data that was requested is not something that we actually have.
Yeah, when we re-administer the test, the proficiencies override each other.
So there's no way to get that.
That wasn't told to me last spring, and I would like to discuss that anyway, instead of putting it under consent agenda.
Okay, we've approved it in the past. That's usually why we have them in consent, or we've approved them in the past.
Nothing has changed except for.
So really it's the timeliness. State sent out a memo September 25, I believe, and gave us the options on what re-administration would look like this year. And then they've requested for either the local boards of education to approve or disapprove, and then for us to report that finding to them by December 1st.
And we've always re-administered.
We have.
I know we have, but my concern was how many kids are being re-administered that really it's not effective. And we were supposed to gather data to discuss that for this coming year. That was discussion in April. So I would really like to know how many kids are being re-administered, how many parents are saying, no, we're not going to be re-administered. Those kinds of statistics to make a better determination whether, if we're only remediating 2 to 3 days, how is that affecting, retesting is affecting that? I have some real reservations about putting these kids through another test if it's not helping. And that's why I asked for that data.
Can I ask a question? Is it parent approved, like the parents say that they want their child to be retested? It's not, we're not making them take the test. The parents are being
Correct.
another chance for the student to make up a better grade.
Correct. To opt in, but it does not help the student to have a better grade. They take the first one on everything, but I think the schools, please help me, Mr.
I'm listening.
Pennington. What do the scores help? It was the school plan, I think.
Sure. So this year, the way it's set up is if you test, so last year, the state gave us an option. It kind of sprang it on us at the last minute. That's what we presented in April. It was just a little bit different. This year, they went ahead and front-loaded the testing and accountability department with, you can re-administer any student that's non-proficient within the 5 or 10 day testing window. 5 days for high school EOCs, 10 days for the EOGs. You have to be non-proficient, and that's rule number 1, and rule number 2 is parent opt-in. Last year when we did this, we only tested students that were 2 to 3 points from being proficient. There was a couple situations, I think it was Blue Ridge, but don't quote me on that. There's a couple situations where the parents said, my kid's 5 points off. They've always been a 4 or 5. I really want them retested. And so we did that. We did 2 to 3 days of remediation. It was a request of the board that no one have, I'm going to say fun time, if you will, that we didn't have a group of students remediating and being ready for retesting and everyone else out doing fun stuff. So our schools did a great job with that. Our administration took, and we had 8 days, right? I think it's the last 2 days of school that we did fun activities there, but everyone was in remediation, whether it be enhancement, enrichment, or remediation, everyone did that.
That's not this plan, right? This is for the summer school, right?
So we have to take into consideration of what the testing windows look like. And so students, so Earl comes in, Earl takes 5th grade math, Earl fails 5th grade math. Earl has one opportunity to re-administer 5th grade math if my parents so want me to. I can re-administer during that 10-day window, or I can choose to come to summer school. The law says a minimum of 8 days remediation, but we always do 12 because that's coincides with our read to achieve summer camp, which is not included in what we're talking about now. And then I can choose, if parents so want me to, again, they can come to summer camp, summer school, if you will, and not re-administer. But most of our students do, but everything is an opt-in from parents.
So it's a parent's choice if they want to.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
How does the board feel? Does the board pull that out for the middle of the month, or?
Are we going to gain anything by pulling it
I
out?
don't see a reason. I don't think we gain anything by pulling it out.
And that gained some insightful. I just have a problem with it being put in the consent agenda because we don't have the opportunity to really discuss it. And it's my fault that I didn't contact Earl earlier. It's been more week, but I did not contact him earlier to get some of that information, which he says is no longer available. So how are we to know if that's an effective strategy or not? I'm just not about kids taking tests for test's sake. And a lot of times we're doing that now. Those kids have 3 opportunities. We do check-ins, we do the regular tests, and it's often our students that are struggling anyway who have to retest. And I wanted to know to what extent that was effective for those students. And that's why I asked for that information last spring. And that's why I'd like to discuss it further now. I don't understand why that information is not available. Well, you said it took the proficiency and.
So in years past, we used a program called WinScan. And in WinScan, I could go in, select the date of administration and tell it to give me the scores proficiencies. For a group, for example, 5th grade language arts, I could say, give me a district 5th grade language arts proficiency for this given day, and I could do that. Now, we went to a totally new online reporting system through the state, and when a student repeats, it takes the higher of the 2 scores and gives you a proficiency. So unless we go back and drill down, and I put a lot of extra work on our testing coordinators to say, hey, go back and look and tell me how many kids retested and re-administered that we gave the re-administration to, it is going to be difficult. But I can say that in most areas, we increased 2 to 3 points in proficiency for the district. And in some areas, it was as many as 6, 7, 8, 9. It just depended on
That did not benefit from retaking the test.
Again, I have to pull that data.
See, that's my concern. Is it worth it to retest it all?
We still wouldn't have that data regardless of, because it overrides with the highest test score. So we don't know if it's the same or whether it was higher or lower, the re-administration, because whatever the highest one remains in the system for each child. And really it's parents' choice.
And if they don't do it, then they would have to come to summer school, correct?
If
they
don't
did
do-
pass.
then if they don't retest, then there's no point of coming to school for some of the kids. Some of them have a full summer school and then they retest, but we give 2 options. What if a parent has a vacation already planned? And they want their child to retest, and we do, I don't want to take opportunities with kids. So it's not like we're forcing them to do it.
And there's no penalty. So to answer your question, Ms. Calhoun, you said, what if a student is not proficient and doesn't come to summer school? Okay, they just have a non-proficient score.
So it's-
There's no penalty to it. Now, again, we're not talking about read to achieve legislative summer camp and the good calls and that's a whole nother chapter of the book. But we're just talking about EOCs, EOGs, and regular versus readministration.
And it could be high school, they could have to then completely repeat the course and, possibly put off graduation.
Yeah,
too,
because
those are required.
Repeating an EOC course could give you a higher scale score, a
Does that
100-point
change?
scale score that could have an impact on that student grade and could push them into a passing grade.
I don't see there's no reason to wait.
I would like to make the request then, if we're not going to waive, which obviously, under the consent agenda, I have real issues with consent agenda sometimes because we don't have a chance to discuss. Thank you for allowing us to discuss this, but I want someone to keep up with the data for those kids that are testing and, not making proficient to start with and retesting. I think that's important for us to look at, to see how our instructional plan is proceeding, how our testing is going. I can't imagine not being able to pull up that information. We've had it somewhere, or we wouldn't know which kids were not proficient in which ones were. So that, that's not available.
So as I told you, when you,
Information for you.
as I said this afternoon when you called, it'll take a hot minute, but I'll drill down into it. But just from my short conversation, that was a pretty intensive thing. But if moving forward, if that's the request of the board, the request of the superintendent, then that's what we'll do.
If we're giving them the opportunity, it's optional, and if they want it, it needs to be, and it's following the guidelines, and I'm thankful that they've given you guidelines before April of how you're supposed to handle this. So, and it's not that different from what has been going on for 40 years in this state with testing going all the way back, 30 years, going all the way back to the 90s. So.
I would also like to discuss policy 3200 more before we pass all of the policies. It's the only one that I have an issue with still. I would like to have more discussion.
Which one is that?
That is the supplementary materials,
Technology and the education program.
selection of instructional materials, 3200.
We went over that. These are all policies we've already went over.
That is a policy we have discussed, but a parent called me with some additional concerns that might apply to that policy. And I'd like to rediscuss some of the issues there.
So if you can let us know, that way we have the opportunity to research, but that would be great.
I heard today. I did it today. I did the work today. The phone call was this morning.
We're still going through 3,000 mid-month on that, on there. That,
Is that something we can discuss at the next policy meeting?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Can you send the concerns to me now so I can do the appropriate research, whatever that is? Please.
I will after the meeting.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, thank you. I just want to make sure my team has the time to get the answers to whatever the questions are.
make sure we get consensus from the board.
Disagree on, of course, the summer administration.
As everybody,
I'm ready to approve.
I'm ready to approve it.
policy 3200, you want to table that till next?
If we can table it to the next policy meeting and discuss it then.
Is that the only one
Yes.
on there? Okay. Just making
So
sure.
we'll pull that one. So from the consensus I'm hearing to approve the agenda, is we will change the consent agenda basically to pull policy 3200 to discuss at the middle of the special call for policy. I have a motion for such.
I move that we approve the agenda with those amendments.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll go on into open session. So there, the first thing on open session is the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's all stand together, please.
United States of America. To the republic which stands one nation, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
The first under the agenda here, we've got comments from the superintendent. Comments from our superintendent.
So first of all, gosh, it's November and boy, we're starting to feel it today, aren't we, with this wind tonight? I hear it's supposed to be beautiful the rest of the week, and we have some exciting events happening, including on Friday is our Veterans Day event. And so we're really excited. Last year we tried something different at Westwood Elementary School, hosted a drive-through parade with students, with all of our veterans. We're going to continue that. Sometimes when we're back and doing something different, great things come of it. So we'll start at Westwood Elementary School for the drive-through, and then following that, that's at 12:45 is their drive-through parade, and then there will be refreshments at 1 o'clock at the high school, and then, then the program immediately following refreshments. So we're really excited to be able to honor our veterans once again. And all of that will be Westwood drive-through and then straight to the high school following that event. And the program is coming along really nicely. So we have a speaker that's actually in-house, which we're excited about. Anytime we can honor fellow employees who are also veterans is a great thing. And then, of course, my family, my son is a current service member. So very excited to do that on Friday. We have all kinds of things on our events. Our EC Community Support Night is upcoming. And so we're excited about another event. So thank you for Terry and her entire team. This one is also at the high school. And it's a combination, it's really secondary, so middle and high school, and they're going to showcase some great things from our middle and high school students who are exceptional. And they're exceptional in many different ways, lots of opportunities that we provide, including transitions, which Terry and her team will be able to answer any of those questions while there. National STEM Day is upcoming, and as you know, we've had a lot more hands-on activities with our students, K-12 really, and a lot of opportunities with our community college, and so we're excited for that. Now that is a Saturday, so anybody celebrating, I know that there were some activities sent home and things online to participate, but we're trying to increase those activities throughout the day as well. Monday is an optional teacher workday, and Tuesday is Veterans Day. So as you know, Veterans Day is legislated that we always have that as a holiday. Could be a long weekend for families. But Monday is optional teacher workday. Tuesday, all of our schools and offices will be closed in honor of Veterans Day. So you can see there are lots of different things upcoming. I'm excited that there's a theater production. This is the first for Ashe County Early College, and that's coming up the 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Civic Center. And so a lot of different students who are participating in that. And so get to showcase not just what they learned, but just their extraordinary skills. We've got some really talented kids here in Ashe County. And that's at 7 p.m. at the Civic Center on the 13th, 14th, and 15th. 7:30. Well, I have 7 o'clock in here, so you'll have people arriving early. But it's 7:30 on those days, so we're really excited about that. We've got all kinds of things like Breeze has a Leader in Me breakfast upcoming, and their Student Lighthouse team is really exceptional. So I've sat in on quite a few meetings with it over the last couple of years with the Student Lighthouse team. They even sit down and do scholarship applications for high school students. So really the leadership that they exhibit is fantastic. We've got visits coming up. Now, believe it or not, 8th grade visits to high school are upcoming. So any mamas out there who were like me and worried about their child transitioning to high school, that's certainly something that they're looking forward to. But that's coming up right before Thanksgiving, and then we're almost to the Thanksgiving holiday. I know. We also have, and this is really exciting too, our spelling bee. And the spelling bee is coming up on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, of course, are largely off. That Wednesday is the teacher annual leave day calendared for 11 and 12-month employees. So those were some upcoming things. November becomes that really busy month. But I also want to say, this week, well, actually last week, is Sherry here today? There you are. She's hiding back there. There you are. So I know during the work session, we said a couple of words about Kelly Holloman, and that is a tremendous loss for our district. And on the day that she passed, App State had sent an email to Kelly telling her that she had won or received a grant award for, and of course, Kelly never got the chance to hear that, but it's for our job shadowing for the middle school. And so when I received the call from Hannah to let me know that, hey, what do you want to do with these funds? Are they going to be able to continue? And so I called Sherry Hines, and anyway, it's going to continue. The $700 is going to be put to great use, and we're going to continue the job shadowing program. So instead of this week, the date is actually the first week of December 3rd, 4th, 3rd. I was right the first time. So December 3rd. So we are excited to get to continue that in Kelly's honor. And so our prayers are still with Kelly's family and with the people at the middle school. But she did some great things, and it continues to benefit our schools. So I just wanted to call attention to that. Congratulations to a couple other people at our schools. Mountain View art teacher, Jorena Sparks, presented 2 sessions at the North Carolina Art Education State Conference in October and represented Ashe County Schools very well. We have highlighted our school cafeteria teams and with their exceptional work, and we have Mountain View, Westwood, and Ashe County High School cafeteria teams, 99 rating for Mountain View and 100% for both Westwood and Ashe County High School. They continue to show excellence in everything they do. So not only are they serving lots of meals, but they keep it clean and meet the standards that we expect that our school cafeterias would have. And so they are planting top trays of, or planning or plating the top trays of the week. And we're highlighting some of those on social media. So look at our Ashe County Schools website to see some of those great meals that they're serving. Amanda Estes, who's a 2nd grade teacher at Blue Ridge Elementary School, and Tina Greer, ISS coordinator at Ashe County Middle School and the high school, have been voted by their peers as October's Employees of the Month. And so congratulations to both of them. Both of them go above and beyond, and we are very thankful that they work for Ashe County Schools. We have lots of things going on within our school nutrition department. I'm just thankful for Tammy, who keeps it running smoothly. But North Carolina Crunch and Farm
to School Menu Day, both part of the North Carolina Farm to School Month, was a huge success. And students crunched into apples of all kinds, also enjoyed Carolina burgers made with North Carolina grown beef, and things like sweet potato cookies. Sweet potatoes, if you didn't know, well, first of all, I read this as cookies are our state vegetable, but it really doesn't say that. It says sweet potato is our official state vegetable, but I read it cookies in my head. You see where I'm going with that one, yeah. But anyway, we serve some great meals, and I'm just really thankful for our school and nutrition department. They really do work very hard. Students and staff and volunteers really made possible all the different fall festivals that have taken place. And now we're getting ready to come into our Christmas festivals, including Second Chance Trees that's coming up. Blue Ridge has their Christmas to Remember. We'll have Mountain View, I don't remember what you have coming up, but we have all kinds of different activities upcoming in December. We highlighted National Bullying Prevention Month. You might have seen that in our schools, our high schools have been clipping each other with kindness. Some of our high school kids are going to share some of the things that they have done over the last couple of over the last couple of weeks since they were here last. But our staff members wore orange. And of course, if you think back to some of the things that we've done, starting with our anxious generation and education of families, but our schools are really working hard to provide an atmosphere where kids feel safe and feel heard. And so, and student leadership is consistently working on ways that students can be seen in their schools. The Lady Husky volleyball team, they were not only conference champions for the third straight year, but they've made it to the fourth round of the playoffs, which is exceptional. And speaking of exceptional, Addison, who is sitting here to my right, she placed fourth in the state for singles tennis. So we're so very proud of her. I think that's the furthest anyone has gone in Ashe County history in tennis. So congratulations to Addie, who was the silver medalist for the region, but she made it all the way to fourth in the state. So exceptional. Our JROTC Husky Battalion Raider team is also exceptional. They brought home a first place overall victory at a competition hosted by North Iredell. And there were 5 teams, including 3 all-male squad, and ours is, of course, a mixed squad or a co-ed squad. And so they dominated the field in the logistics relay, the stretcher carry, and the rope bridge. And they also placed second in the 5K group run and the truck pull. So if you want to see a hardworking group of students, that Raiders team is truly hardworking. Senior Huskies were recognized at the football game against West Wilkes on October 24th. The Ashe County Hall of Fame, the very first one for Ashe County High School. Where's Dustin? That was a very nice event and highlighted 4 exceptional people affiliated with Ashe County High School, including a fairly recent graduate who, speaking of veterans and those who serve, has some exceptional accolades at such a young age of her career. Highlighting some other things, the newest group of Westwood ambassadors was recognized recently, selected by their classmates. And so kudos to that group of students, and they're going to participate in additional service projects and throughout the year to better our community. Mountain View Elementary School had participated in a corn maze fundraiser for the school. And Blue Ridge Elementary, for the 1-year anniversary of Hurricane Helene, they made a special video honoring excuse me, honoring the compassion and the way the community pulled together. So we're really proud of a lot of those things that have been going on and continue to go on, not just academically, but extracurricular for our students. And so I'm going to turn it over. They have a couple of minutes to share some great things that are happening at our high school and early college. And we'll start with Addison.
Okay, good evening, board members. My name's Addison Dollar, and I'm excited to share with you what's been happening at Ash Early College this month. It's been an amazing month for our students. 17 AEC students placed at the district beta convention on October 28th. I have some other work to show you guys. A special congratulations to Henry Hernandez, who was elected district vice president. In academics division 2, we had Mark McNeil, he placed 3rd in agri-science. Jonathan Perez Denza, 2nd in Spanish. Sawyer Green, 3rd in place of math. And then Melody Pierce was 3rd in science. In academics division 1, we had Xavier Waite, 2nd place in ELA. Carol Trinidad, 3rd place in Spanish. And then in visual arts division 2, we had Mia Hodges, 1st place in photography. Nina Clark, 2nd place in photography. Hayden Donaldson, 1st place in painting and drawing. Michelle Toledo, 2nd place in painting and drawing. Michael McCarrier, 3rd place in 3D art. And then in visual arts division 1, we had Brayer Rowan, 1st place in photography. And Destiny H in 2nd place in photography. Sienna Graham, 2nd place in painting and drawing. And Haley Lester, 3rd place in 3D art. And then finally, Isaac Osborne placed 3rd in performing arts.
And that's in the region.
Yeah.
A lot of schools and lots of students participating.
This is Hayden Donaldson. She placed 2nd.
You want to step up here and show everybody else?
Michelle Toledo, she drew this too. So. This is Brayer Rowan. So she was photography. And Sienna Green, painting and drawing. And then this is our 3D art, Michael McCarrier. Oh no, this is Haley Lester.
Wow. Beautiful. Wow.
Okay. In CTE, our students are doing great things too. One section of our Adobe visual design has a 100% credential pass rate in Adobe Photoshop, and a second section is already over 50%. This year's senior class will be our largest group of CTE completers ever, with about half of our seniors finishing pathways in areas like digital media, business, agribusiness, welding, criminal justice, and education.
And I just want to say thank you to Earl Pennington for working so closely with our community college to help make those credentials possible, because a lot of those classes are directly through the community college.
We're also excited about our first theater production, which has been mentioned. It is at Ash Civic Center coming up on November 13th through the 15th at 7:30 p.m. We're so thankful for the Arts Council and the Civic Center for making it happen. And we would like for all of you to attend. Mr. Green and a few of our cast members will be featured on the WKSK podcast tomorrow, so you should tune in. But I have some tickets for you guys to attend. So.
Here they come from. I'm like, wow, I get to invite
Our school has also had a great time celebrating Kindness Month, Red Ribbon Week, and a special haunted mystery event on Halloween. Each teacher and a staff member played a character, and students worked in teams to figure out who stole the bowl of candy, where it was hidden, and what item was used to carry it off. It was definitely a creative and fun way to build teamwork and school spirit. All of our 9th and 10th graders students visited Appalachian State University for Biology Day, where they attended an admission session, took a campus tour, had lunch in the dining hall, went on a nature walk with a biology professor, and even got to hold live crawdads during a hands-on science presentation. On October 23rd, 5 AEC students, Louise, Kinley, Elin, Deacon, and Ashton, attended Scholastics Media High School Media Day at UNC Asheville, exploring the campus, learning about journalism and podcasting. Inspired by the experience, they have decided to launch a podcast club at AEC, a student-led project to connect our school community. Highlight Gear Up initiatives, promote global leadership, and the first episode debuts November 20th. Okay. Senior Hayden Donaldson spoke to the freshman class about how to make the most of their time at AEC, and super senior Sophia shared about her dental internship, inspiring others to get involved in career experiences. This is about tennis, so I'm not gonna say all that. But I was the 4A West Regional silver medalist and a state semifinalist for tennis. And then myself, Addison Williams, and Riley Williams also received all conference for tennis. We're proud of Emma Howell for being selected to take part in the Europe LEAD-led program, which helps build the next generation of student leaders. Through workshops and working with other students across the region, Emma will be building strong communication skills, teamwork, and leadership. Looking ahead, here are some of our upcoming events. Our theater production, which you all got tickets for, that's November 13th through the 15th. Our Skill Up Club will be meeting on Basic Bank Skills Workshop on November 20th. And our 8th grade visits will be on November 24th and 25th. The State Beta Convention will be on January 29th. Our Open Mic Night, Poetry Slam, and Art Gallery on February 12th. And our Community Visit Day on February 17th. But thank you guys for all of your support to our students, and thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Claire Hauk. I am the representative for Ashe County High School, as you guys know. So I do not have Felice Sue with most of our academic updates, but his words, he should be here next meeting. So I do not have a lot of updates regarding AP classes or courses like that, but he said he has many updates for us whenever he can make it. So starting off, our student life, we have had lots of Halloween events at the high school. We've had our costume contest this past Friday for Halloween, and we had some amazing costumes. There's so much effort that students put into making those, and I love seeing that.
What was your favorite?
I think he won, I'm not sure of his name, but our third place winner dressed up as a character from the video game Five Nights at Freddy's. And like he made his costume out of
Is that the one that was
cardboard.
robotic?
Yes, actually there were two. One won first place last year, so I know they wanted to give this other student their spotlight as well. But those costumes are amazing. Like I said, lots of effort and dedication have been put into making those. So that was really fun to watch the competition. As well as we have this past week we had a soccer Halloween spectacular. I'm not exactly sure how they worded it, but it was to celebrate our men's soccer team for senior night. And I would really like to brag on them. They have made it to not the finals, they're like in the quarterfinals almost. But this year they have been 22-2, which is absolutely amazing. So yeah, big round of applause. So I have many close friends that are on the soccer team, so I'm very proud of them. And I know they are just absolutely so excited to go to hopefully into the finals. So fingers crossed. Like I said, I'm waiting for academics for police. So moving on, I would like to recognize we have another student, Mason Jenkins, who's a junior. He has also joined our Dick Miller Youth Leadership Program. So that deadline was supposedly cut off, but they allowed him to join, and I'm super excited because I love Mason. So I'm very excited to have him there. I would also like to brag on myself a little bit. And another one of our Ashe County Schools students, Andrew Mash, we both spoke on WKSK talking about the Dick Miller Youth Leadership Program. And that was a wonderful opportunity. I love talking to Caleb, or Mr. Marsh and Andrew and all of the wonderful people at WKSK. So that was a
You
lot of
did pretty
fun.
well on trivia, by the way.
Thanks. I would also, like Addison mentioned, there's a long list of sophomores and juniors that have also been accepted into our Lead Gear Up program, which I'm also a graduate from. And I know that is a wonderful program. So I'm really excited for I want to say there's like maybe 6 or so juniors and sophomores, maybe a little bit more than that. But I hope that all of those students have a wonderful time in that program because I certainly did. I would also like to talk a little bit about Ashe County High School Student Council. We are going to be participating in many charity events this winter season. I'll wait till probably the next meeting to speak a little bit more about that, but we've got some big plans. As well as we have a very special present, or I guess present if you want to call it that. We have a surprise for our staff and teachers for America Educators Week in November. So I can't spoil much, but be excited. And as Dr. Cox has also mentioned, our Lighthouse team has continued doing all of their amazing leadership stuff that they do. Like I said, they've continued clipping. Oh my gosh, I've seen so many students and staff and teachers just going around clipping each other. And it's honestly kind of funny to watch because half the time a lot of people don't realize they're clipped until they go home and get comfy. But I think that's pretty funny. So yeah, I like to brag about the Lighthouse team as well. And then let's see. And so yeah, currently we're in the transition of from our fall to winter sports. So I know a lot of athletes are currently in the tryouts and practices. But so there's not a whole lot of updates on sports, except we do have a football game this Friday. I'm not sure where, but I know we have one this Friday. You know,
West Ardell, maybe?
yeah, West Ardell. We'll go with that. So, yeah, hopefully it goes good. And then like I've already bragged on soccer and how proud I am of them. And then there have also been many other sports such as volleyball that has already been mentioned that have made it to different levels of playoffs or whatever they have been doing. I'd also like to talk a little bit about the FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I know that they have had many meetings and I know a lot of students have joined this year, so I know that a lot of people are very excited about that. I would also like to talk about how I like to brag on Miss Molly and Miss Hope and Miss Lorena. I know that they have been continuing to help students with college essays, applications, scholarships, and so much more, which I know many students have greatly appreciated. And I'd also like to brag on our Ashe County High School yearbook because they have been working really hard. And then last thing, I would like to talk about our Ashe County High School Vanguard. They competed at Fred T. Ford and won second place drum major, second place visual ensemble, second place marching and movement, second place music, second place general effect, and second place overall. And this will complete their 2025 competition season, but I thought that was really, really amazing. So congratulations to them. And then I'd also like to say how our child development class has been doing a lot of fun stuff, as well as I know that there have been many internships that a lot of students have been participating in and job shadowing. So I know we'll have some more updates about that later on in the year. Thank you.
Lot to keep up with. There's no way. Next, we've got for the board is public comment. So as we get into public comment, in accordance with policy 2310, the board chairperson will recognize speakers in the order in which they are signed in. Each speaker will receive 3 minutes to present comments. However, the public comment session will not extend 30 minutes total, except by a majority vote of the board. If the speaker is unable to present all of his or her information in the specified time limit, the speaker may provide the board with additional information in written form. Please refrain from addressing specific employees, student, or board concerns as part of this public comment. Comments can be directed and concerns to district leadership as described by the policy. Board members will not respond to individuals who are address the board except to request clarification to points made by the presenter. The board chairperson has the authority to speak on behalf of the board and refer concerns to administration. Except in the case of emergencies, information received during presentations will not be acted upon at the time it is received. So with that being said, we'll start with public comment, and I have first on here, Miss Lily Coldiron to speak. If you'll come up to the podium.
Good evening. My name is Lily, and I'm a senior at Ashe County High School. I stand here tonight as both a representation of the students who feel targeted and misunderstood because of their identities, and the students who want to fight for the inclusion of their LGBTQ+ classmates and friends. In September, I emailed administration about refounding the Gay Shared Alliance Club at the high school, as it had been ended a few years prior. When I received an email back, the answer was plain. ACHS will not be able to create and support a GSA club. With this response, I decided to contact members of the community who may have been able to help me in taking further steps or creating other ideas for a GSA club. I received an invitation to a gala dinner with the Ashe Democratic Party, during which I met members of the party, men and women running for county and state positions, and professors. They were all in support of me fighting for this cause and encouraged me to take my thoughts to the board, which is why I'm standing here tonight. I was also encouraged by others to reach out to members of the board to request advice on what steps to take and how to approach my issue. I emailed a member of the board asking for advice on the situation, and their response was to write a detailed description of what I wanted for the club and to sit down with my principal to discuss it. I later found out that my email was forwarded to the superintendent and administration. I was later then called into an administrator's office, during which I was told I had the right to speak out, but that my chances were slim, and I should consider the fact that I would be risking the administrator's jobs and my future by speaking out. My goal today is not to target a group or an individual, but rather to bring attention to the inequality with which my fellow classmates and I have been faced. While a Bible study session is being held in the library and members of a fellowship club are putting up posters around the school asking, "What has Jesus done for you?" I am being told that I cannot form a group that promotes inclusion, safety, and understanding among our school because the political climate is too risky and some parents may not like the idea of a Gay Shared Alliance Club. So I'd like to present a statistic that many, not just some, parents may not like the idea of. The Trevor Project, an organization that provides crisis intervention and suicide prevention services to young people of LGBTQ+ identity, reported that individuals of LGBTQ+ association are more than 4 times as likely to attempt suicide than their peers. They also estimated that more than 1.8 million LGBTQ+ young people aged 13 to 24 seriously consider suicide each year in the US, and at least one attempts suicide every 45 seconds. These statistics are not just numbers, they're people. There are peers, students, classmates, friends, and family. They're the percentage that I'm fighting for tonight because it's time we pay attention. The students of the Ashe County High School deserve a safe space in which they can grow a community, work to help a minority, and share their experiences. By allowing a Gay Straight Alliance Club to be held at the high school, you're allowing children an opportunity to feel safe and seen, along with opportunities to work with the community to learn how to help minorities and make our schools inclusive. I hope each of you can take what I've said tonight into consideration and make a decision that benefits our community, not silences it. Thank you.
We'll go in the public comment session for the board. Next, for the board to talk about are updates for the new Ashe County Middle School.
Good evening, board members. The rain has not helped us. We did not have a successful week last week, but, prior to that, working with Blue Ridge Electric, we did, relocate the three-phase underground power that served Forest Ridge. At the classroom wing, the, plumbing contractor continued installation of underground piping. Under drains were also being installed in that area. The block foundation in the Area A classroom was laid. In areas B and C, electricians are installing main feeds and also duct bank for the data. Work continues on cast in place retaining walls separating the classroom wing and Area B. Storm drain pipes and structures were installed up the road leading to the school. The soil nail wall is complete. Just have to install the shotcrete on it, waiting for good weather for that. And topsoil is placed above the wall and was hydro seeded. We just need some more weather now for grass to grow. And kickoff meeting was held with the school technology team. We were planning all the network equipment, security systems, AV equipment that is not part of the contract. And we also have a kickoff meeting for furniture fixtures with Clark Nixon on the 17th. So there's been a lot going on, but not last week, so. So this weather's supposed to be dry, so hopefully we make some progress. So does anybody have any questions?
It's a really particular question, but what is the difference between shotcrete and concrete?
How much water's in it? Yeah, well, it's actually, they apply it through a hose. It's kind of like a fire hose. Takes about 6 individuals to hold it and they spray it. It's literally shot onto the wall.
The same sort of thing you've seen on these road banks where they're.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly right. The last application is to try to make it look nicer than what you see on the side of the highway. So those aren't quite as attractive. We're trying to make it look a little better.
Is it the same temperature parameters for that as it is
For concrete, yes. Yeah.
So it's
And we don't want to do it in the rain. Hardly.
How long was that soil nail?
About 700 feet. We've been working on it since July, 1st of July, yeah. It's remarkable to see. It's the longest wall I've ever done, for sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you so much. Next, we'll jump in here to action items for the board. First item we have is the consent agenda, which are the minutes from the October 23rd and October 6th meetings. We've got the summer re-administration plan approval, the volleyball overnight trip, and the policies with the exception of 3200 on there. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Chairman, I'll make the motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Okay, Ms. Jones, thank you. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Ms. Calhoun. Have a second. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we've got the personnel on there, and you have those and the addendum that was sent in for that. Anybody have any questions? Dr. Cox or Dr. Moulton? Entertain a motion to approve the personnel and addendum.
I make a motion, we approve the personnel and addendum.
Thank you, Ms. Eldridge. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Any questions, comments? All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Next, we'll jump into, I think that's the shortest action items we've had. I used to keep going.
It'll be a lot next month, I think.
Next, we've got updates and discussion items for the board. So the first one is the update Board of Education Student Leadership Exchange, Spark MC, and that's the.
Why not?
Yep. The whole front row about it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Appreciate that. Good evening, board. Good evening, Dr. Cox, Dr. Mogan. We appreciate your support of our Spark Lab at the high school. And of course, it's part of the early college as well. We have a few students signed up from the early college, and we have Friday, we're going to say Friday, 4th block time to go up to our ambassadors. We're going up to middle school. Sorry. To the early college, and they'll be sharing more about the Spark Lab with those students, so we can garner more interest with our early college students. And so if you'll recall, back in the spring, I came before you all asking permission to take a group of students to Wilmington, to the University of North Carolina at Wilmington, and for the Spark Leadership Exchange for students. And here are our 5 students that went with myself and Miss Mandy Lovell. And always appreciate Miss Mandy and her support of our program as well. And on the next slide, on slide 3, you'll see that before we went, each student and adult that went created a Spark Way card, and this card was kind of like a resume, and told a little bit about each student, gave a little bit of their background and their interest, and then they had to build like a mission and vision and what they would like to achieve through the Spark program. And so we have Jaden Carpenter, we have Lily Jordan, we have Savannah Blevins, we have Elena Lovell, and Tucker Eller. And then on the next slide is just the Sparkway card for myself and Miss Lovell. And I'm gonna let these ladies take over now and tell you about their trip.
Okay, so I'm going through the agenda of the Spark schedule. For day 1, we came to Wilmington and we checked in and we had our opening session where they introduced the special activities that we got into. And then we did a team challenge. For day 2, it was more of an all-day thing, and we did live podcasts, student sessions, UNCW exchange, teamship network, and connection dinner. On day 3, we had a keynote speaker who spoke on their like connection with the Spark and how they benefited from it. They did an innovation circuit, a scholar lab leader collaboration, and we had our closing dinner. And here are some of the pictures of the schedule and of our breakout groups.
I'm going to be going over day 1. So we began by checking into our dorm, getting everything settled. And then we went to our opening session, and then they had some special activities, which were tie-dyeing shirts. They had some robot dogs and some VR sets.
And then we had a team challenge, which was a descripting activity.
How were the robot dogs, by the way?
They're cool. It was cool. Decrypting. Sorry, decrypting, yeah. And then on that slide, you can see, that was us in our groups doing the activity.
What was your favorite activity?
Probably the decrypting. So it was just like an activity and I broke this up into groups, so we weren't with anyone we knew. And it was just like a challenge. We had to like find like what was wrong in an email and it, but it's like a coding thing.
On day 2, we began with a breakfast and then went straight into a live podcast session where 2 of the staff members from Spark and C involved students and ambassadors to share their experiences with Spark. And they were very student driven and even spontaneously let one of the students take over as the host of the podcast. And then we broke out into groups and attended student-led sessions where ambassadors talked about their specific interest within Spark and C. For example, one session was all about 3D printing and another was about the Rube Goldberg challenge. And then,
Y'all did Rube Goldberg challenge thing?
yes.
Yeah, I actually believe everybody from Ashe County attended the Rube Goldberg machine, which was really cool. Because, so the people who are mainly a part of Spark and C, they created an app for all of us. And through that app, you could see the agendas and you could actually elect to choose which sessions you are attending. So the student-led sessions, you can elect which ones you're going to attend. And we all just, by happenstance, just chose the 3D print or the Rube Goldberg one, I believe. Yeah, it was very fun.
What did y'all do with the, what was it like?
So we were actually the first group to ever do the Rube Goldberg. So he was kind of disorganized, but that's okay. He showed us a video of his Rube Goldberg machine, what his team did for the National Rube Goldberg competition. And so their goal was to feed a dog. So then as a group with everyone in that session, we chose to, I don't remember, but a domino effect. Okay, yeah. So we chose to create a Rube Goldberg machine that would create a domino effect to like, have you ever seen those domino arts? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was one of those, but it was the Spark and C logo. That's what we decided to do. And I believe there are some photos of that on like the next couple slides that you'll be able to see. But the UNC exchange was right after that. And that was UNC Wilmington professors and teachers who we also elected to choose. But particularly, I really enjoyed a UNC, one of my favorite one was the nuclear physics one, where we went in and the professors taught us about nuclear physics, like just the basis of it and tried to get us more interested to lead a career. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. And then we also went to, I believe, a teamship network after that and a connection dinner. The teamship. So I don't recognize it that. So you actually asked the very wrong person. And I have a lot of allergies, so I had a special food. But what I heard from my peers was that it was very good. It was what the UNC students would eat as their like daily food. So it was very good. Yeah. According to other people. Anyways, so the networking opportunity was where a member of District C, which is a program in Spark, North Carolina, which nobody, I believe in Spark, has had the opportunity to attend, but it sounds really interesting. It's, from what I understand, it's a leadership opportunity where students go and I'm completely unsure. But the District C, he came in and he told us how to do an elevator pitch. And he told us, he kind of prepped us for how to talk to businesses and how to make connections. And then we were all supposed to sit at separate tables as a practice run for what our connection dinner was going to be that night. So we had our practice run, we did our elevator pitch, and then all of these businesses just came in all at once. And when, in my table particularly, we gave our elevator pitch to our two businesses, I had the opportunity of talking to a college counselor and a tech software engineer. And I gave my elevator pitch. And then we all went around and he talked about, well, the tech software engineer talked about how how he started his business and what led him there and what connections he had to make to become as successful as he was. That prepped us for our connection dinner. And then our connection dinner was the real thing. So I don't know about everyone else, but I was pretty nervous to like do the real thing and make these real connections. Of course, the counselor and the tech software people were connections, but they were not, I feel that they weren't nearly as important as what you would make at the connection dinner. So we all sat down and we had our connection dinner. And we talked to, there were 2 representatives at every table and no one was with anybody they knew. You were all split up. It was a seating arrangement table and it was industry networking. And in this picture specifically was a Spark ambassador who was introducing us to what would be happening during that connection dinner. He also gave remarks from our senator, Josh Stein, and it was a video that he gave us. So I thought it was pretty cool. Governor Josh Stein, I apologize. Yeah.
I don't, he's not aware about it.
On the next slide, you'll see photos of our day 2, which is our biggest day. You'll see the UNC Exchange Hall, which all of the student led, and UNC Exchange that was the building was in. And then there are a couple of videos in the podcast panel and our Rube Goldberg machine with all of the dominoes and our breakfast. And then on the very far left, I believe, is a photo of the closing party and activities. This was only for students who were actually in attendance. So it wasn't for the businesses, it was just for the kids as kind of like this is our ending night. We want to have fun, you know. So there was dancing, there were games, candy, parties, fun. Yeah.
And I will be talking about our closing day, day 3. This is the day we had our keynote speaker, a student from NC State. She is still a student there. She will be graduating this year. Her name is Aisha Rakara, I'm pretty sure. And we also had our innovation circuit where we continue to engage with high-tech industry professionals, as well as representatives from universities and colleges where we continue to make these connections. A lot of the representatives in the innovation circuit, as what I saw, were able to give out their Indeed cards, and I was able to connect with quite a few people that have sought after for internships when I have graduated college or when I am in college, and also possible job outlooks in the future. So I believe that this specific event has helped like a lot of the kids that were able to go and able to meet these people continue what they would see connections that would last for their lives. In the second slide, we can see more pictures of what happened specifically. During day 2, we were awarded from the ASA, the American Student Assistant, Representative Kevin Fudge, showed a check for $1 million to Spark NC because he thinks that Spark NC has the opportunity to give students in North Carolina the connections and the possibilities that they need to succeed further in life. Tina Piccone was a major support in finding these connections. She started as just a normal warehouse girl. She did not have a major job, but she was able, as she provided through her story, and I was able to meet with her personally in the connection dinner, she was able to provide that she knew how to rig up a car to see how fast people were driving before they had GPS trackers. She did this as kind of a way to show the men that she knew how to get them in trouble. And she was very blunt about doing that because they did not believe that she could do what she did because she was a woman. But she had many mechanics in her family and she was like, well, I'll show you what I can do. And through this, she was able to meet many people. She was able to succeed in her career, and she brought most of the people that we met with and we saw with that day. She was a very big aspect in she wanted young leaders to showcase their abilities in succeeding, and she wanted young students specifically
to lead themselves into their own pathways. And that will be closing for Spark NC. We hope that you have enjoyed letting us go on this trip and we have benefited from it as you have expected us to. Is there any questions the board would like to ask us?
What grade level are you guys?
We span from juniors, we have 2 juniors and the 3 of us are seniors.
So,
But any grade level, within like, I'm pretty sure 8th grade to seniors are allowed to join this as long as it's the summer before their senior year. And after senior year, you can continue to go and do some of the student-led sessions. You just cannot join as a student in small teams.
we have plans to expand into groups.
Yes, we have 3 blocks of classes right now, in the Spark Lab. So we hope that you are going to come and, see the Spark Lab on November the 13th from 5:30 to 7 o'clock.
Correct.
And, Spark Lab will be open and, students, we have ambassadors here. We have some other student ambassadors. And, some of our students will be demoing some of the things that they're doing, their modules. They're, part of it's of course tech, so they're online. The other part is they may be in like a cybersecurity, module. And so for part of that cybersecurity module, they'll build they have to build a lockbox, in like section 2 of that module. In section 3, it's totally hands off or totally computer off. And it's all hands on, and they actually go back and build, a hieroglyphics using ciphers. They go back to, they do a cipher from Thomas Jefferson built. They'll do a Caesar cipher, and they hand create a Spartan cipher that, so many that were used during war. And, then they actually come back for the last module, and it is all online, and they create ciphers online, different ones. So they have to create an online lockbox, they have to create a music cipher, a combination lock cipher, different things using coding. So there's all kinds of modules the students are into. We are up to almost 30 students that are within the block schedule. And then we have approximately 10 students right now who are considered virtual, meaning they may have a full block scheduled classes are full. They may be from the early college, but they still want to take part in Spark because once the kids start sharing what they're doing, then that gains a lot more interest. And I think as of this week, I'll have met with all of PLCs, all the teachers, and which actually helps too, because then those teachers are telling the students, what we're doing. So sharing, spreading the word.
Thank you to you and Mrs. Lovell for taking these guys, and sounded like you guys probably had a good time too, but you may have to do us a separate demonstration. We're gonna be at a conference on that day, so,
4 out of 5 of us.
yeah, so,
You're welcome anytime. I think they enjoyed it a little bit more than my back did, Yeah. I finally just pulled my mattress off and put it in the floor. I still got it. I told us.
I don't know how to get back to what I told.
We'll keep going down, so we'll go from good news to federal shutdowns. And so next we've got on the agenda is the DPI update on federal shutdown / child nutrition.
Well, and I'll just share with you that I sent an email last week following this being published, sharing essentially that the funding is there for child nutrition. It is separate than the SNAP benefits, and so we look forward to that continuing. It also helps that our students are right now enrolled in the CEP program, so all of our children are getting free breakfast and free lunch if they so choose. Anything else I need to say about that, Amanda or Lakin or Tammy? No.
I did just read that, Governor Stein did just put out something that the partial SNAP funds would be addressed in November as well. So somehow they worked out some of that.
There'll be more to come down the way.
And SNAP funds are separate from school lunch funds, so we don't have to worry about that as far as school lunch is concerned.
I love it. Every morning, everyone has coffee, so love that.
Good feedback, Tammy.
That is, thank you.
Next, we'll just keep going. We've got the school improvement. Let's see, Miss Taylor, Miss Smith. No, I don't see Miss Taylor.
Yeah, Miss Taylor.
How you doing? Yes.
Order without the hill. I think I would rather follow the Sparking seat than I would federal monies, but anyway, with that said, we'll talk a little bit about federal because school improvement plans are somewhat federal. Ms. Smith's passing out a explanation. We had a meeting this morning, and I think this really helps sums up more so than the attachment that's in the school, that's in the board agenda. So I apologize, but I'm gonna do my best to fill in. If you have any questions, we'll phone a friend and we'll get Miss Taylor on the, we'll get Miss Taylor on the
She
phone.
said she'd
And
be
we'll go from
available.
there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So each year, every 2 years, we bring new school improvement plans to the board in December to be approved. We thought on the month before this, we thought since there's been some changes in the format, changes in the expectation from the State Department, that we would come and share those. And Ms. Smith said she'd take all the questions and we'll talk through those. And maybe that will help with the, I know it'll help us with the development, because like I said, we met just this morning with Stephanie Nishabi with our regional support and made it much, much clearer with it. The attachment that you have, let me get to my attachment. Okay, maybe not. Yeah, there it is. So the attachment that's in the board packet goes over the purpose. And basically yes, thank you. Basically, the purpose of any school improvement plan, it's a breathing, living document. It's not to be made and put on the shelf and sit there, but it's something that's visited each month. And its whole sole purpose is to take a look at the data and the opportunity gaps in the school and come up with measurable goals to help close the achievement gaps. That's it in a nutshell. It also talks about who serves on the school improvement plan. There has to be rotations, just like with any committee, people rotate in, and there's a set of acting folks that sit on each one, the principal, instructional folks, your counselors, parent representatives. And it also goes over the core responsibilities of what the school improvement team is, and then the key features, of an effective school improvement plan. One of the things that we thought that was really important to take a look at in the years past, our schools have done a self-assessment, a data analysis assessment, if you will, and they've taken a look at some ridiculous number, 140, 130 different indicators. And from that, they choose 2 or 3 and work on those for a couple of years. Well, this year, the way the state has set this up, and Casey will talk more about this in just a moment, they set up 3 strategic goals. And under each of those strategic goals, there's 2 indicators. Now, and that's the same for our state. That's what our school, that's what our district strategic plan is going to be built around as well. And so it just makes sense. This is passed on down to the school levels. The difference is school levels will have some autonomy. Casey, I'll let you talk just a moment about the different goals there and
Okay, so the handout that I just gave you gives you a little bit more clarification on what those goals are. And so Mr. Pennington was saying is 3 big buckets, so to speak, or 3 big goals that every school, every system has to have. And within those would be goal 1, eliminate opportunity gaps. Goal 2, improve school and district performance. Goal 3, increase educator preparedness to meet the needs of every student. Within those 3 goals or those three buckets, those 2 indicators have to be underneath there. That's how you're going to get there. So that they're all going to look the same to you initially. Because when we first looked at them, we were like, they're all the same. So when you start looking at these, you're going to say, they're all the same, right?
So when you get the our direction that we've traditionally presented, the overarching goals will look the same because
Yes.
that's what supports the state.
Yes.
And that's why we were like, time out, we need to look at this
Yes.
and drill down more into it. So what you'll see there is, what you'll see is the beginning of each
Right.
plan.
So as you drill down into the plan, where you're gonna see it differentiate for each school will be within its action steps. That's gonna be where it's data driven and based upon student at school needs. Okay, and so every one of our schools, we are gonna have an academic goal that's gonna go with goal 2. That's gonna be differentiated for that particular school. And all of our principals have attended workshops, sessions through our state, through our region. Of course, we're working with our consultant, Stephanie DeShavi, and she's helping coach us through that. And they're continuing to refine that so that we're ready for next month, and that their goals are tailored specifically for their school and their needs. And then additionally, any school that is designated CSI or ATSI, they have to have that indicator down at the bottom. So you will see that for those particular schools whenever you're reading the plans as well.
So just a little bit on that, that's a federal designation. That's why I said it is, school improvement plans do have a federal component to it. And that's can't say I agree with the way it's arranged, but that's looking at, from a federal standpoint, how many students in a certain category or a certain classification are college and career ready. It's not looking at proficient students. It's looking at students that score 4 and 5. I have a little bit of a problem. I don't want to get on a soapbox, but it seems to always target our students with disability subgroup. And if those students were college and career ready, not that they can't be, but in looking at it from a testing 1 day standpoint, that's a little unfair. So we do have 3 schools that are school TSI schools, and then we have 1 school that's TSI consistently underperforming, and that's looking at,
TSI,
excuse me,
what's TSI?
targeted
Something.
improvement,
Improve.
targeting school improvement. Yes.
Use it. Acronym.
Sorry,
It gets me wrong.
Mr. Roten
What
usually
gets us lost too.
Mr. Roten usually gets me real quickly on that. He'll say, anyway. So with our targeted schools, the schools that have not met the students with disability subgroup long range.
Targeted support and
Targeted
improvement.
support. There we go. Thank you, someone for helping me out there. It's you, Ms. Dollar. Thank you. So in looking at those, we have 1 school that's consistently underperforming, and then the other 2 schools are additional supports. And it all has to do with how long has that long-term goal not been met. So you'll see some different languages on 2 of those. And again, hopefully the CU school, the consistently underperforming, that's an annual. The other 2 schools, that's a 3-year cycle. So after 3 years, those schools can come out of that identification or designation rather, and this consistently underperforming can come out on an annual basis. And Dr. Cox, I know you have a whole spiel over there on that, but I tried to paraphrase that because we both feel the same way about that. And again, is there anything else you want to add to that?
I think the only thing that's a major overall difference, one thing that Stephanie said this morning was she said, we want to try to simplify things. Less is more. And so it does look like it's less and everybody has the same, but they do when it comes to big buckets, but then you'll see that it will be more differentiated.
I'll just say that a school improvement plan with 6, 8, 10 goals, you're not going to get a lot accomplished with that.
Yes.
And principals, if anybody wants to chime in, please do. 2 to 3 goals. That's best practice. That gets things moving. If you have a couple action steps with each of those, then that's a perfect setup. Now, can some goals be accomplished in 6 months? Sure. Can some goals extend into 2028? Sure. So you'll see an arrangement. You'll see a wide array of completion dates. I know we're writing our CTE local plan right now, and it's the same way. I harp this all the time. We have about 40 goals that we have to work on in 2 years. Too many. And I echo that. And I'm like, can we do like a school improvement plan? But again, it's a different day and a different topic. But you'll see some differences there. And some schools will have 3 goals. Some schools may have 4. Some you'll see ending at earlier times than others, and some you'll see extending out beyond.
It's still 2 years.
It's still a 2-year plan.
But that doesn't mean it's all accomplished in 2 years.
Exactly. Exactly.
How does wit and wisdom fit into, the differentiation?
Well, if you look here at, it's under goal 2, and if you notice the yellow highlights around that, that's the key language. That's around all those goals. And so, actually, Stephanie DeShavi mentioned that earlier this morning. We talked to her. She said, for example, the entire state has initiatives and legislation around literacy and literacy instruction. So they're all going to have some type of action step around that because that's where the state is going. And so whatever your curricula is, that's where that action step is going to come in and pull that curriculum and pull that resource and instruction and then push that through the action step. So yes, you may see that on there potentially because it is part of improving school and district performance, and it does fall into that bucket of curriculum. And so since it is a state initiative through legislation, then
I guess my biggest concern about it, it's not very differentiated, so.
yes, we're learning how to differentiate. There are parts of it that in every single lesson has differentiation. And so that's where our coaches come in and they help teachers try to figure out the best way to differentiate. So that the kids are still meeting the learning goal of that lesson or that module, but they're differentiating it so they can scaffold to get them to that standard.
Especially our ones that we all consider.
Absolutely.
And again, that's the autonomy of the school. That's so the state's presented the 3 strategic. They presented the indicators, and that's where the autonomy based on data and based on performances that school improvement team is seeing. That's where that autonomy piece, Lord, I can't speak this afternoon, forgive me. That's where that piece comes in. So that, although that may be a component or an action step or an intervention, it may not be all complete. It may not be something we see in this leader's plan, as opposed to that may be an indicator for a specific grade level that's been underperforming in that ELA area.
So we can look at it before the meeting.
They'll be on it.
They'll be on the board agenda.
Sure.
Yeah. So they were the last time that's what I was asking. We did not have those to look at.
I'm pretty, so the one, and I always say it backwards because One Direction, and for those of you folks that like music, that's a band, not school improvement. Our direction is the overlying shell or abstract, if you will, of each plan, and that will be uploaded.
There was a glitch somewhere. We didn't have a physical copy. I do better with you since I understand. Any questions?
I'm just curious, I don't know how really to word it, but it talks about the closed achievement gaps. Can you tell a difference in our schools if the gaps are getting smaller with the new Wit and Wisdom program? Because I don't know, like.
Yeah.
After the year we had last year, and considering where proficiency, I'll take that from a proficiency standpoint, and then Ms. Smith can jump in on her expertise with the literacy part. Proficiencies, yes, we saw some gaps closing.
Okay.
Now, did we see it at every single grade level across every single school? No. There's one that's there, and I won't call it out, but there's one that I don't know what's going on because it seems to be a tough grade level. But yes, we saw proficiency gaps.
Okay, that's what I was.
Thank y'all so much.
I would like to say that I appreciate all the extra work that goes into the school improvement plans because there is a lot of work that has to happen, a lot of hoops that we have to jump. So I really appreciate that.
We'll go from school improvement to build up to maintenance update. Mr. Jody.
Good evening, everybody. I think I get impressed with everybody that speaks to this group because I know I get tongue tied and mumble, so I'll do my best to share updates. Usually I'm in company. Speak with some strong, I get that. I did share out in the board agenda, some updates on a couple of projects, and I'll be happy to kind of hit some highlights of those and then take questions in between by all means. With the fire, tower, or water tower project at Westwood, we, did receive a, proposal from Matter and Craig on work. We did review it and we've had a meeting with the town of Jefferson, our team, a local vendor to discuss some options and what the specs of that job look like. We've come to some identifying pieces that we weren't really in love with current spec for that job, so we're in the middle of negotiating, or not really negotiating, but building out a design that's gonna be best suit for us, the town, and making sure we're functioning, it's gonna function the way we need it to when we get operations. So it is moving along. We're also doing the administrative part, working on getting a contract with Matter and Craig, and that does take time too. So I see this project moving along. I have aspirations of getting a more concrete timeline after I get the contract from Matter and Craig, and then we're able to scope out what the specific pieces of the job will look like and all the components, and then get the design and then go out to bid. You guys are starting to get real familiar with the process, with other projects too. We know those take time and they'll have a review from DPI. And we'll work diligently on that and see what that timeline looks like. I am planning for some hopes and been talking about strategically looking at some dates in case things happen. So we plan ahead, but I won't plan too far ahead and say something now and be caught later on. I said one thing or another, but I do feel like there's moving on it. Does anybody have any questions before I jump into the next project? The roof replacement project, again, we're working with Terracon with that, and forgive me, it feels like there's weeks now that happen in between when I submit this report and it's not but just a week, but it does feel like there's some things that happen. Terracon has replied that we did get initial feedback from DPI. There were about 4 items that needed to be addressed. I was informed that they did submit to DPI last week, which is good. So we'll hope to get back a final, hopefully. There weren't major issues. It was just something like some caps from the roof to the structure itself. Nothing I don't think the engineers would worry about, but they wanted them designed anyway. So we'll feel good there. The rough timeline that I'm getting from Terracon is still somewhere in what we were shared when we went through the conversation when they came in. We would look to go out to bid after the new year with tariffs being an impact of what vendors would be looking at for pricing. After that would be moving to getting construction dates and choosing a bidder, and then being started at the beginning of the spring if the commissioners and those funds come through and all that pieces work out. We would be going into a little bit of the next following year with you may have any questions on that.
The DPI been pretty responsive, or are they dragging their feet, or?
The review came back fairly quick from the first review. I think it was like maybe a week or two. I don't think they sat on it very long. The roof is not something I don't think they stare real hard at, is what I'm stating. Again, this is my first experience with working on DPI group. So I'm pretty happy on where we're at right now, which may be a bad thing to learn early on, but knock on wood, that's right. Yeah. But no, it's been pretty smooth, and Terracon continuing to draw with them and their work. Any more questions on the roof? All right. Switch. And then going into some FEMA projects, and I kind of partnered it with our drainage system over at Mountain View. We did complete that work. I think, we were able to share some photos on Facebook of the completed slab and it's down. They've seeded and we'll get grass back around it, which will be nice. It's a new playground slab. I don't think Jerry had any woes other than saying we can do the other 1/4 of it, but maybe that'll come down the road. But I do think they were pretty happy with it. We've, finished, some work at the bridge at the high school. The sinkhole was repaired in addition to what the FEMA work was doing while we were at, Mountain View. So people kind of forget that was like 2 jobs essentially became one big job, but that was done. There was some, storm drainage also that was above Mountain View that was completed by the vendor who was out there. So that was finished as well. Let's see. The middle school, we're still working on that. They were actually, we signed a contract, I think, since last updated with our erosion control engineers. They've come on site. They were testing last Friday, doing samples, and they're going to be giving us some reports and options on what best case scenarios for where the building once was, how we can handle erosion control there, because that was a concern from FEMA and then from us. And then we'll be able to address that based on that. I don't think it was in the notes. We did end up working with our vendor who we signed the contract with and moved forward on the tennis courts. That will be kind of pushed to the spring. The recommendation from them is to keep it covered. That way the ground doesn't absorb as much moisture over the winter. And then we'll kind of do the demo and then that work from them. That's the exciting part of it. I was hoping to come today with the notes that the dugouts have been started, but the footers are dug. I am continuing to conversate with that vendor. And they will be, finishing up the dugouts there. And we'll be adding a few more netting pieces and fence. They're kind of a part of the dugout because it's a new design. Remember, we had the old dugouts that had fences in them. Well, now we're just doing something a little different that will make sure the athletes don't get hit when they're in there, but that'll be finished up when the dugouts are done. So I think that'll be a pretty good checkbox for that work that's there. I think that's a pretty good wrap up of that work. Does anybody have any questions on that job or those jobs? Or I'll say projects because it is more than just one day. Let me say that. I was again, thank my team, and it's been great to work with them. They do a great job. I always encourage them or ask them if they want to come to these meetings, and they lightly decline, but they do a great job, and we continue to use our tracker board. We've got a lot of great projects done, continued projects that are working on. We're finishing up heating installed at their learning center, and that's a great thing to see. Heaters running and not having calls for that, and then continuing little projects here that have been kind of hanging out there for a long time that we're able to start scratching off, and then hopefully growing into a department that has more of a planned maintenance mindset where we work on equipment, and in hopes of not having to replace equipment as often. And that's a goal of ours, and we're eager to share that as well as having conversations about our facility assessment plan that will come out soon. We've scheduled Andrew LaRoe to come up in December to the board meeting and present for that. So that'll be some good information as we look to plan what the next steps are for facilities and maintenance.
Okay, good comment.
Things probably do. Have a lot of things going on.
Be busy, yeah.
We're gonna put you up there with Alice and just keep you on here every month. No, it is good to have these updates. It helps. So
Well,
that
happy to share.
all 5 of us get questions where this is at, where this is at. And that helps us stay on.
Yeah, I work to share it, and I think the admin staff and Ron has been great to share the photos, because I think those photos are worth 1,000 words or 1,000,000 words some days when we can share the little work that we do. And again, it's great that we had the Spark Loud folks in there. I'd like to say that was great on our maintenance team as well. Give us a little bit of props. We did help work to put new carpet down in that room and paint those rooms as well. So it's really welcoming, and it's good, it's a good feeling on my end to know that students are getting an opportunity from spaces we put effort into and funds into. So that's what we do, and it's important. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Just keep up with property. We've got the Warrensville property update. I don't know who's leading that.
So, well, so the Warrensville property, as you know, we brought some information to you last time, and Brandon Miller is the one who is our contact for that property, and he is the only one essentially affiliated with that property at this point in time. We did get clarification from Fred that as the original lease was written to remain active through 2036, because the Brock broke the lease and vacated the property in 2023, it does revert to Ashe County Schools. And anyway, so we do have confirmation of that at this time. So according to Fred, I mean, the property holds no value to us. So it's, we essentially would reclaim ownership, however, per the deed. However, it's up to the board to decide what you want to do with it next, which could include selling the property. However, you have to give the first right of refusal to the county commission. So if that's the case, then we would take it to the county commission to have first right of refusal, and so whether they take the property or we sell it. Were there any other options that I'm missing?
But you can't sell it unless the county.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. We have to take it directly to the county commission, and they would have to decline it.
I was looking over there today. It's in bad shape. It's bad. And whomever gets that property will have to destroy the building, because it's gonna fall down. I don't know that you could give away that property, to be honest with you. It's in the floodplain now, under the new floodplain. I don't know what we do. Yeah. I don't see us ever using that property for anything. Ever. It's just not feasible. The hurricane really did a lot of damage. There's a lot of cleanup there. There's the building that we used to vote in. It's gone. I mean, it's just awful.
But you never know. Somebody may want it. I don't know. Somebody might want it. Somebody might be more creative than me.
There's a number of people who live in that area that lost a lot during the hurricane. Some of them might want it for some kind of expansion of something. Build on it, I don't think. They build on it, but they may be able to use it for a parking lot or something like that. I don't know. It's, how much is in there? A little over, there's not even an acre, is it? It's an acre.
Hold on, I gotta look at it.
It's not very big.
Didn't we discuss maybe that, seeing that the church would have something to do with it, like a playground area or something?
So we have to, so what we need to do is we have to take it to the commissioners, say that we don't want it, and give them first right of refusal, and Fred can write up that documentation. I put it under discussion because I wasn't sure where you'd go with it, but yes, I would need in order to take action on it, to take it to the commissioners, I would need action from the board. Amanda talked with Brandon last.
He said that he was the only active member left, that the others had health conditions going, or were not able to meet with the committee any longer.
Warren as well. I didn't realize Warren was sick. Warren Miller.
He just said he was the only active person. I started to ask him to come tonight and wasn't sure if we were ready for that or not, but,
But it is our property according to Fred though.
Just thought maybe he had an idea, of, like building Robin a bakery over there or something.
Okay, so he really rather have hands off from your conversation.
We've been invited to come and stay for you all and talk to him. I mean, it's right there. Again. I think he is worried about it because he knows he can't manage that. And the community's just not as active as it once was many years ago.
What's the wish of the board?
Motion to take it to the commissioners. I don't know the exact words you're supposed to use.
Is that in the form of a motion?
Yeah, form of a motion.
Okay.
Can we take it to the commissioners?
For first right of
There
refusal.
you go.
Okay, so,
And I second that.
okay,
Second.
we got motion 2 seconds. On that, so. You will say it. So right now, the motion and second on the floor is to go ahead and extend to the commissioners to see if they want to first right of refusal on the property and then go to the mayor. Any other questions, comments? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carried. Right, we'll go into next policies for review. That will be talked about in the November 17th. Special calls, leaving on that.
And we'll add 3,200 to that as well.
We're about to get there to 3,000. Anything you need to discuss there?
No, they said that she's ready with 4,000s whenever we, whenever the board finishes the 3,000s, and I said it would be December, more than likely. But anyway, and if you have any questions about any of them, that I can have in advance, so I can do some research and get some attorney opinions through the School Boards Association, since they crafted them, or even through Fred, if that's what the board desires. I think we were doing 3 o'clock to 6.
That was from, I think I sent an email asking about the last one being pushed back to 4. On it, but then we rescheduled it. That's why I think we get 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll tell you everything. It's the next meeting. But I have on the calendar, what time?
3 o'clock.
Still be
No, do I have, next on the agenda is adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move we adjourn.
Or do I have a second? There was a second. Questions, comments? All in favor, raise your hand. We are adjourned.